Welcome back to Third Phase of the Moon. Blake Cousins here. It's November 1st, 2020. We're opening up the phone lines. It's Third Phase of the Moon Radio, taking your calls from around the world, your testimony, and your experience. In regards to the UFO phenomenon, let me tell you, it's been lighting up right here at Third Phase of the Moon. A lot of videos have been coming in. If you haven't seen what we've been posting the past week, I urge you to check it out. We're exceeding over 1 million views this past week right here at Third Phase of the Moon, so the world is listening. So when you share your experience to the world, when I say the world is listening, it's no joke. We are the #1 UFO channel on the planet in regards to the internet, social media, anywhere. The information is here. So right now, backed by popular demand, everybody wants to hear the people, the public, and what they got to say, their experiences. So if you've got a UFO story you want to share, just keep it down to about 5 minutes. We want to get to as many callers as possible. So let's get to it. Let's open up the phone lines, and I'm going to bring in area code 863. You're on Third Phase of the Moon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hey, I love your videos. I think they're awesome. But my story began actually it happened about 2 years ago. I live in Lakeland. And one morning, I get up early anyway. But one morning, I was in upstairs bedroom, and I keep my blinds closed. And I seen this light, trying to shine through the blinds, and I thought it was a car just going by or whatever, and it just went out, like it turned off. And so I went downstairs and to the back porch, and I said to myself, what was that all about? Well, I was sitting in a chair in the screen room there, and all of a sudden, we got a big oak tree in the backyard there. A light shined down, and it wasn't a big, like the light wouldn't spread out. It was like a beam. And you could see, if there's an ant crawling on a blade of grass, you could see it. And about 5 seconds later, it just went out. And I was, I was thinking, okay, what the hell was that all about? So I looked up, looked around. I didn't see nothing in the sky or anything. And all of a sudden, orange glow. It didn't make no noise. It was silent. It wasn't a drone or anything like that. It just turned on like a flashlight. And it was shaped just like a saucer. And it was glowing orange. It wasn't white, it was glowing orange. And it stood there for, at least 2 minutes. And I said, well, what the hell are you going to do now? And it kind of like dimmed a little bit, then glowed back up. And then all of a sudden it just went blank, and it just kind of like it made a shift change or whatever to had a red light and 2 white lights, and it just kind of like I could have walked or threw a rock at it and hit it. And it went across the interstate, and I watched it just go off until I couldn't see it no more. And it was just amazing. But about a month after that, I was sitting on the back porch, me and my sisters, and it was, we had a few clouds out, whatever. Well, I looked up, just happened to look up, and I seen this cloud was moving faster than a normal cloud would, and it went into the clouds, and it went back into another cloud, And I thought that was pretty awesome. But you know,
Well, appreciate
it
you
was
sharing
kind
your
of
story. This is people are experiencing these UFO encounters on the interstate while they're driving. It's crazy that this thing was so close to you. You could have thrown a rock at it. Let me tell you, that's very, very close. A lot of people see these things off at a distance, but to actually be in close proximity like that, there is an effect on the body, in my opinion. There's this force field around these craft that resonate, and it puts you in a crazy state of mind because you're seeing something you haven't seen before. Wow, appreciate the call in. Appreciate it. It takes a lot of guts coming forward, telling your story. Thanks so much. We've got a lot of callers calling in. Let's just get to the next caller. Let's get to area code. Let's see here, 812. 812. You're live on Third Phase Moon. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm a little nervous talking about this live. But
appreciate you calling in.
Basically, I didn't ever believe in UFOs or aliens or nothing like that. And I thought the people that did, were either looking for fame or they were off the rock or whatever. But I'm 54 years old, and in 1992, I had a memory of being abducted. And it was so real, and it was just nuts. And I talked to everybody about it because I'm like, oh my God, this is real, And I bought my first book. Raymond Fowler actually called him and spoke with him about it. And another guy, Richard Hall, I'd spoken to him. And I was pregnant at the time with my first child. And
okay,
when my memory came back, it was like me and my husband we had went fishing, and it was like going to be the last time we were going to be able to go fishing before the baby came. And I just felt something speak in my mind and tell him you want to go home. And I was like, no. And just all of a sudden, he was ready to go. So we left, and then, like, my next memory is being on a table and being perfectly at peace. I felt so much love. I remember being cut and instantly re-healed and going, wow, we definitely need to be able to do that kind of stuff. But anyways, whenever I was coming back to myself and back to my own mind, I was very angry. How dare anything or anyone control my free will, make me feel love or what have you, So, and my mother, she's passed away now, but when that memory came back and I was like going through all that, I'm like, and my husband was in the military at the time when that happened, and I was talking to my mom about it back home, and I said, have you ever heard anybody talk like me? And she said, only one other person. And when she told me who it was, him and his wife used to watch me and my brother when we were kids. And I was like, oh my God, I remember seeing this long black cigar-shaped object in the sky as a kid, and not knowing what it was. But I never got a chance to talk to him because like I said, we were in the military, and he was really old. And he passed away before I got to talk to him about that. So,
Do you think it started when you were a young child that you noticed this cigar-shaped craft, and then now you are being taken aboard the ship? Can you give me some more details? You said you were on this table. Could you remember what the surroundings were like, the room you were in?
I remember having something stuck in my nose, and I remember seeing robots that didn't look like robots. My idea of robots back then was like the Star Trek, or not Star Trek, but Star Wars, but they moved like humans. But the beings themselves, but they were like your normal grays, the big black eyes, and like I said, when I was with them, I was not afraid. I felt just an overwhelming love, and I've had like missing time that I know for a fact twice after that. But do I have any other memories of actually being abducted other than that time when I was pregnant? I don't. And
so you were taken aboard while you were pregnant. Do you think that had maybe one of the reasons behind it, why you were taken?
Possibly. But I do suspect that it probably has happened, when I was younger and I don't remember. I'm lucky. I feel like I'm lucky that I remember what I do. And it'll mess with you. It will. Because
I bet you it sticks with you for a lifetime. Let me ask you, do you think you still might be, maybe in the future, might have an experience? Are you ready for it?
I would only be ready if, they would have to take control of my mind like that. If something like that were to happen like right now, I would freak out. And like I said, they had control of my mind. They had complete control of my mind. That's what made me so mad. I was just, because I was like, I will remember. I have to remember. And everything, like I would latch my mind onto it. Seemed like it would go. And I thought, well, if I can just remember seeing it, but I didn't. I didn't remember for 9 years. And when that all came back, I was just blown away. And like I said, I love to read, and I started buying every book I could find on the subject. There was no YouTube then, we didn't have a computer, things like that. But every book I could buy, I bought, just to see if any of that was like what I had experienced. So, but I do believe they're real.
Let me tell you. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I personally, I can't get around it. That to me, they're real. They're absolutely real, to me. So.
Well, you know what I got to say is that it's really brave of you to come forward. I could hear your passion behind your experience, just the way you're explaining it to us, and it takes so much guts to come out and share these experiences. I know it's real personal, but yeah, you're not the only one. This is real. This phenomenon is real, people. This isn't made up stories or figment of one's imagination. There's something going on when you have so many people telling the same story about this abduction, being taken aboard a ship, being experimented on top of a table. This isn't just recurring dreams. They're just too similar. And I got a feeling this phenomenon is going to be blown wide open here soon. But it's so great that we're opening up the phone lines and getting the incredible public testimony. That it doesn't get much better than that. This is what Third Phase of the Moon's all about: getting the people's testimony, their evidence, and getting it to you as fast as possible. Wow, thanks so much for calling in. You be safe and you keep in touch, okay?
Yep, thank you.
Wow, this is so cool. We're going to get to the next call. I want to ask everybody, if they're enjoying this show, kindly hit that thumbs up in the live premiere. All the support really helps. The comments, the thumbs up. Make sure you get notified and hit that bell to make sure you're aware of our next upload. Now, let's get to the next caller right now. We're going to get to area code 201. 201, you made it to Third Phase of the Moon. How you doing today?
Oh.
201, you there?
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah, how you doing today?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear.
My name is Richard Mohabir, and I been seeing a lot of UFOs when I used to live in Jersey City, New Jersey.
Okay.
I used to live there a very long time ago, probably for 20 years, and then me and my parents moved over here to Lyndhurst, New Jersey, which is 2 towns away. I always been seeing a lot of activity in the skies, such as Jersey City. I had a small backyard, and what I will do is I will take my telescope and I would just look at the stars and gaze out there. What ends up happening is I think that with your show, that it's really important that whenever I watch your show, I always feel goosebumps. That the previous lady who talked as well, I felt that frequency from her as well too,
Absolutely.
Something as did touch her.
Yeah, you knocked out for a little bit, but you're back. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I don't know why it's like that. Yes. So I felt the goosebumps, the chills from what that lady was talking about. And I was like, oh wow, it made that connection to her. So yeah, I remember. Let's skip to 2017. My cousin was in Florida, right? And I remember I had the house all to myself in Lyndhurst, and this is a time when we had grass in the backyard. And I saw a big circle patch in the backyard, and I was like, oh wow, what is this? As if something burned the grass. I'm not too sure what was that, and I'm not too sure what was that, but the next couple of days I started getting these weird dreams that I saw these 2 ships, if you will, and at the same time, I guess at the same time I was getting discovered to healing frequencies. I was discovering healing frequencies, frequencies that heal your body. And I guess those intelligent beings know really what's happening. They're just watching over us or something like that.
Let me ask you, what do you think these beings are? They're extraterrestrial in origin, interdimensional, spiritual?
It could be a lot of things, Blake, because as I was watching your channel for many years, it's I've been picking up on a lot of stuff. Remember that time when you had a video, and it had actually Dr. Stephen Greer had this video, and I was going down this rabbit hole of just watching UFO videos. Yeah, they're definitely interdimensional. They could it's omnipresent quality they have too, of how gods, goddesses, and deities have that quality of being omnipresent. They could be at places that within I can't even say probably nanoseconds. You know what I mean? They're definitely interdimensional or a higher power, you could say. Or they evolved to that state, but definitely. Also, I was watching some kind of video, but it got deleted by YouTube. I think it was called "Contacting Alien," And then there was some type of frequency that in the video I was watching on YouTube. So as I was watching your video, I actually let it play, and it made all these weird sounds, like frequencies like that go from like 100 hertz to 16,000 hertz or 20,000 hertz, like human hearing. Again, as I think like your third phase of moon, the YouTube channels making it's becoming mainstream. I guess like you're creating a platform where everybody could share their experiences, which is a great thing, you know.
Absolutely appreciate the call in. We've been doing this for about 10 years. We've opened up the lines, and then we took a few years off on the radio and just went straight to UFO submissions into third phase moon, but backed by popular demand because people wanted to hear the public once again, and we're so happy that we're able to open up the lines again and get the public's reaction to their experiences. Appreciate that call in. We've got so many people that want to share it. We're going to get to the next caller right now. Give us a big thumbs up for callers into third phase moon. A lot of brave people out there. Let's go to area code 314. Area code 314. You're live, third phase moon. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Love your show.
Appreciate it. Where are you calling in from?
Calling in from a suburb of the St. Louis area in Missouri, a little community called St. Charles.
Great. What, you've seen something out there? What's on your mind? Let's hear it.
Yeah, I had an incredible sighting a number of months back. And a little preface before that. Growing up in Oregon, had a really close friend my entire life, still is. And we had a unique encounter in the Santiam Pass region in Oregon, in the mountains. We were there camping, got up in the middle of the night, and had an encounter with all we could describe, I could describe it as with Bigfoot, within about probably 15 feet. This might be a little off topic, the Bigfoot thing, but we do know that UFOs are always sighted, or a lot of times they're sighted same time that a Bigfoot's being sighted. So it developed an interest in things like Bigfoot and UFOs. So growing up, and we're looking at 45 years ago when our experience was. I'm 60 now. And so since then, both of him and I have really studied and read everything that we could possibly absorb about UFOs and different phenomena that are associated with that. So was out in Oregon from St. Charles visiting my friend Mike, and we were reliving and talking about our joint experiences together. Bigfoot, we saw 2 UFOs together, and we were just talking about that. And he was asking me if I had heard of the TR-3B, triangular shaped craft. And I had heard about it a little bit, but he encouraged me to study it a little bit more, to see exactly what it was. So I looked it up and read all about the TR-3B. I pretty much dismissed it out of hand. I mean, there were the big sighting flaps in Belgium, and one has been seen here about 20 years ago that was eyewitnessed by 3 different police officers and tracked it just across the river in Illinois. So I wasn't really sure about this TR-3B. It didn't look like anything was beyond the capability of man to build it, except for its propulsion system. So a few months back, still unsure about this TR-3B thing. It was 5:20 in the morning. I'm retired now, and for some reason was just all wired and couldn't go to sleep. So I decided to clean out our hall closet, which basically took me all night. Well, my stepson, Andrew, was walking out the front door to go to work. He had to be to work at 6 a.m. And he hollered at me, "Kendall, come and see this triangular airplane." So I run out, and right then it's passing directly over my house. And it was probably, the craft was at least, 150 feet wide, it was no more than 150 feet to 200 feet above the house, directly above my house. And so when I ran out there, I caught the last half of the craft and was able to see lights and the shape of the craft, of course, the dimension, width, and height. I couldn't tell you the length because it was flying so low that it didn't have to go very far over my house before the trees blocked out my view of it. And it was in line, flying like straight towards where the St. Louis International Airport would be. So this craft, 150 feet wide, traveling at no more than maybe 25 miles an hour, that low, making no sound. Although my stepson said that when it was directly overhead, he could hear a buzzing type sound. But when it passed overhead, I was
going to ask you that. Apparently, these TR-3Bs, they put out a frequency, a hum. It's not really a motor or a jet sound, but a slight hum.
Yeah, and I had read that since, and I didn't know that at the time. I just asked him, could you hear anything? And he described, the buzz, the hum. So the craft, I'll complete a better description of it. 150 feet wide, approximately. 2 houses side by side with their yards, that width. So it might have been more than 150 feet. Like I say, flying at maybe 150 feet to 200 feet. I could have thrown a golf ball up there and probably hit it. It was that low. It was probably about a story in width, maybe a story and a half in thickness. And there were 2 bright white lights inset at each corner facing out with an orangish red light right in the middle of where the triangle craft would meet. It was slightly indented on each side, and it had a dome underneath. The structure itself looked dark, almost black, but underneath there was a large dome area that looked more silverish. And maybe that was the propulsion system. That's where the hum was coming from. Not sure. So I knew I'm no more than, as the crow flies, 10 to 15 miles from St. Louis International Airport. So I get on my phone and I try to look up the phone number for the St. Louis Airport air traffic controller because I wanted to contact them, see if they had gotten anything on radar, which when I was a kid growing up, a friend of mine's father worked at an air traffic controller outside of Eugene, Oregon. And so I knew that was probably the best person to ask. First time I reported it years ago in Oregon, called the air traffic controller. My friend's dad wasn't working, but the air traffic controller gave me an 800 number. I think it was an 800 number to call and report my sighting. And lo and behold, it was some sort of a Navy office that I got a hold of, and they took down my report. So I wanted to do the same thing to get it reported, get it out there. And so I'm looking for the St. Louis International Airport phone number, and I can't find it. So the next best thing was to contact the FAA. So I looked up the phone number for the FAA based in Kansas City. It was the Midwest office of the FAA. A man took my report. I started describing what I had seen, and if he could contact the St. Louis International Airport to see if there was anything on radar, even though this thing was flying extremely low. So as I'm talking to him and describing the craft, my phone made the loudest buzzing electronic noise I have ever heard. I couldn't even believe that type of a sound could come out of my phone. It was so loud. And I lost connection with the guy. So I call back and I'm able to get through to the FAA office. And I asked him if he had heard that sound. And he said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't hear anything. The phone just went dead. So maybe not. Well, he wasn't interested. He did call in the meantime the St. Louis airport and said that the air traffic controller told him that the only flight coming in around that type of night was a UPS delivery flight. Well, this was certainly no airplane or known craft. This was not the UPS delivery airplane. And then he gave me a phone number for a man, and I don't know if he works for MUFON or something else, but just an independent researcher for UFOs. He gave me his phone number to contact. Making a long story short there, I contacted, told him about it, but he didn't want to write down any information or take a report. He wanted me to fill out a report and then send it to him. Well, I never did.
Well, I'm glad you're sharing the report with us. It sounds pretty interesting. It sounds like a cover-up, if you ask me. And whatever that weird sound was, it sounds like they're trying to jam the signal so they couldn't get the information. Obviously, when people report their sightings to the FAA, it's a really bad idea. The FAA doesn't even want to take UFO reports from their own pilots. They suggest to go over to Robert Bigelow at Bigelow Aerospace to take the report. So it's very bizarre, if you ask me. Yeah, I wouldn't go to the FAA to report any UFO sighting. They're not going to help out at all. Just send it right here at Third Phase Moon. If you got the videos, you got the testimony, we're right here. I appreciate the call-in. We got time for one more caller. This is Third Phase Moon Radio. If you're joining us this November 1st, 2020, give us a big thumbs up for taking the calls from the public. And I appreciate that last caller. Incredible testimony of the TR-3B. They exist. And in my opinion, it's reverse engineered technology from aliens that crashed maybe in 1947. And they took that technology, and now they have this anti-gravity triangular craft known as the TR-3B. Incredible stuff. My brother and I, we've seen them. We've seen it really up close right here in Hawaii, 2010, December 30th, one of the greatest days of our lives. Okay, let's go to area code 719. Area code 719, you made it to Third Phase of the Moon. How you doing tonight?
Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
Great. Where are you calling in from?
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
All right. I appreciate you calling in. You're the last caller. Give us a good story. What's on your mind?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear.
Okay. I apologize. I was just calling in to let you know, back in 2018, I was picking my kids up from school like I normally would, and I was looking out the window, to see if I could see anything out of my car, and I spotted two dragons, and what it looked like was two snakes in the sky, okay? And they were at least 5-6 miles away, and they had to have been 60 plus feet, okay? Hello? Hello?
60 plus feet. If you're saying it's about 6 miles away and it looks like a snake, how long do you think it was when you're looking at it with your own eyes? If this thing was 6 miles away, how long in width would you say it was?
I mean, at the distance it was, I've seen Cessnas, because I live in Colorado Springs and I planes all the time at distances and so on and so forth. And what I saw was these two snakes come out of the cloud, and they didn't have any obvious wings. They were just slithering up and down in the sky. And at the distance, I've seen Cessnas, and they could have taken down a Cessna, no problem. But I managed to see the two dragons that day in 2018, March 2018, and I couldn't believe it. And I've obviously never seen it before, and I've never seen it since.
The twin dragons in the sky is over 60 feet in length. In my opinion, if it's at such a distance and it is much larger than a Cessna, I'd say this thing maybe 60 to 120 feet. It's hard to gauge exactly, but what? So do you think these things were living dragons, actually?
Well, the thing is I saw those in the sky, and randomly I was watching another video. I think it was Andy Kuhn Top, and they had found a dragon, skeleton of a dragon in China in 2017. I don't know if you've seen it, but ultimately, after my experience, I randomly ran across this YouTube channel that possessed this dragon skeleton that was roughly 60 feet, which would kind of describe what I saw that day.
Yeah, very, very strange. There's so many strange sightings all over the skies. We're a UFO channel, but to hear about dragons in the skies, let me know what you guys think. Do you think dragons exist? Do you think they could be interdimensional as well, and they appear before over our skies, or do you think it's a genetically engineered creature, or we need more evidence on this? I haven't seen really much evidence of the dragon skeleton remains. And if it does exist, I don't think it's been scientifically proven. But hey, if anybody could catch me a dragon, that's right. Yeah, well, there's big bucks behind it. I got $2 million for a dragon as well. The rewards out there. If anybody could bring me any kind of, a body of an alien, living or deceased, most preferably. We want it living, make friends with it, a dragon, that would be great. And let me tell you, we got another award out there. If anybody has the power of telekinesis, if they can move something with their mind and they could do it under test and scrutiny and do it over and over again, we got a couple $1 million for you. So if there's anybody out there with the superpower of telekinesis, you let me know. If you can move things with your mind. Well, that's the show today, Third Phase of Moon Radio. We did it again. Make sure you join us on Third Phase of Moon. We're going to be putting this up. I want to thank everybody on the live YouTube premiere for joining us. You guys have been great. And if anybody's captured anything amazing in the skies, submit it to us right here at Third Phase of Moon. Upload that video to YouTube and copy-paste that link to my email. It's in the description below. Keep your eyes on the skies, everybody. We're not alone. We'll see you next time.